Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. Our current session is about synchronic variation. I hope and expect by the end of the session you would be able to understand the term and you would also understand its significance in the study of sociolinguistics. Well, my dear students, the synchronic aspect of the study of language is so important and it has gathered so much significance that synchronic linguistics has emerged as a discipline in itself, which studies a language at a given time point. In order to explore the word synchronic, I would take you back to its history. Actually, synchronic is taken from Greek language. It is a combination of two parts taken from Greek. This part means together and this part means time. So, together, time. Something that is together because of time, in terms of time. So, I think the word synchronic now makes sense for you. You know, all those varieties of language, all those variations of language that come together in one time. This is what is synchronic, linguistics deals with. Synchronic linguistics is contrasted with diachronic linguistics. Synchronic linguistics looks at, if this is the world, it looks at how at place A, B, C, D, E and F. For example, languages 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are used simultaneously at this particular time point. Whereas diachronic linguistics is a completely opposite approach towards the study of language, where what we see is how historically, it goes vertically, how historically through the times, there is a change or a variation in a language or in languages. One can approach all different aspects of language, such as grammar, syntax, semantics, phonology, etc., from both the perspectives. For each of these areas, you can take up a synchronic perspective or a diachronic perspective. Now, focusing on the synchronic variation in sociolinguistics, I would say, what does it do? It explores the functioning of language at a single time point. The time of examination, the time of study, during the time when language is used is always one. And at that time point, for example, when you are looking at language, you are not comparing or contrasting it, with the times that have already passed. Different stages, earlier times or earlier stages are not considered. On the synchronic, Klein, it examines different varieties of languages as well as different dialects. Not only different dialects, but also, different features of these dialects and how they are similar to each other and how do they differ. A synchronic study of language actually is more like at any time point a comparison of languages or a comparison of dialects used within a specified spatial region and during the same time period. This raises the question, what is the scope of synchronic study? Why it is significant to do synchronic studies? Well, a study in synchronic variation may focus on grammar or grammatical phenomena such as word organization, negation, or features of clause linking, etc. So its scope is very vast. Anything that at a particular time is being used in the whole human community as a language can be compared with another from any particular aspect. Synchronic variation examines communities of speakers. How community A at a particular time is using a particular language, how community B is using a particular language at a particular time, what are the similarities, what are the differences, what is happening to, for example, community C in terms of language at a particular time, etc. It also explores the attitudes of these linguistic communities because, after all, linguistic communities are sociolinguistic communities. The social aspect of these communities has, certain factors involved which kind of shape the attitude of these speakers towards a particular variety. Under the scope of synchronic linguistics, we can also do some cross-linguistic research. We can do, for example, some interlinguistic research. We can do some intralinguistic research. When I say cross-linguistic, it is how in one and how in the other language. How in two different varieties at the same time, what is happening, any feature. When I say interlinguistic, how the relationship between the two languages at a particular time. For example, how English and Urdu are mixing and how code mixing is taking place, for example, in Pakistan right now. And then intralingual, how, for example, because of whatsoever the media changes that are coming, how within one particular language, for example in Urdu or for example in English, what kind of changes are taking place or what kind of variety is being used. This can involve a close investigation of certain grammatical phenomena in various languages or dialects to view the precise details, how they differ from each other and why they differ from each other, and how they are same and why they are same. What is it that makes them what they are? Now, when you think about certain varieties of English from synchronic perspective, I would like you to think about the worldwide spread of English. Synchronically, in terms of this particular time where we are living in, there are different varieties of English that we find. We can have the British English, we can have the American variety of English, the Australian English, New Zealand English, Indian English, for that matter, Pakistani English, etc. So, you need to think about it, how synchronically, these studies of English can involve investigations into certain areas. We can look at the spelling differences, we can look at pronunciation differences, we can look at syntactic varieties that have emerged, and above all, the vocabulary choices, how a particular word has a particular vocabulary item one language has, and how another language has another word or another particular linguistic item for that particular thing to refer to in the world.